Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I titled this message, Deception Within. Deception Within. And this sort of thing shows up for some individuals when they have been afforded many opportunities. This self-deception blinds people to their reality. It makes them think a certain way, usually the types of thoughts that will get them into the in crowd, that will alter who they really are so that they can be able to get certain opportunities. This self-deception lies, it connives, it covers up, it defends. The within that takes place is one's soul. The within that takes place is a stirring of emotions, where one realizes that for a number of years he or she has deceived not only self but other people. And then someone comes along and takes the mask off. Someone comes along and says, you can no longer act this way anymore. I'm not going to tolerate it. I know you are not being your authentic self. I know that you have been conditioned to be this way because you wanted opportunity, you wanted fame, you wanted success, you wanted money. But I know who you really are. Now, of course, the deceived is going to be in denial. No, you don't know me. Because if you knew me, you wouldn't say this, or you wouldn't do that, or you wouldn't call me out like this. But discerning individuals know when a person is walking around with a deception that is hurting not only them but other people, a deception that is built on nothing more than an empty void on the inside that has been filled up with a bunch of material wishes or wishes that have been made into reality, but still one is not happy. Notice, this deception within isn't rooted due to some parental programming. Nope. It's not rooted as a result of some bad breakup. It's not rooted based on any type of cult brainwashing or religious programming. It's just an ugly thing on the inside. And the only thing that seems to make some people happy that are like this is when they get more money, more success, more fame, thriving off of other people's praise and worship. So they flock to sites like Facebook and elsewhere. Give me more. I'm starting to see myself for who I really am. Give me more. More energy, more money, more whatever, because I'm slowly unraveling and what you see isn't really what you see. I see these folks on the internet and I see how their education, the pressure to be all that they can be, has altered a lot, has moved them so far away from God that they at times have trouble even listening to a person talk about God. Their mind can't wrap around what you're saying. Soul, spirituality, speaking in tongues, word of knowledge, prophecy. What are you talking about? But at one point they were very much aware of Jesus, God, Holy Ghost. Because somebody talked to them, or they saw something on television, or they visited a church. But the programming, though, it never took. They just heard information. But when you've been chasing money for so long, when you have been out there doing any number of things that are devilish, when you have been living La vida loca, you have trouble listening to anything dealing with your spirit. There are those individuals who have a deep deception within. It's so thick to the point that if you tell them that they smell, they don't want to believe it. If you tell them that they are a liar, they say, I tell the truth, even though they just told you a lie. If you tell them that you changed your appearance since the last time I saw you, or you look a bit different, or what's been going on? No, I didn't. They are in control. In control of what? They attempt to portray themselves to be something more than what they really are. When you tell them that the money in the bank isn't lining up with what you told me and it's not matching up with the paperwork, they say, oh, I don't know, maybe it was a mistake. Maybe you misread the information. No, I can clearly see that what you've been saying is not matching up with what is here. Sometimes people have been walking like this for so long that they lack common sense. They've been hurt so many times to the point where their mind wanders off into some other direction every now and again, and they try to bring their mind back, but to no avail. Then someone within, an alter possibly, another personality, calls their attention back and says, remember who you are. You are A, you're B, or you're C, whatever that is, for whatever opportunity, for whatever conversation. They've got different names even for some of their personalities. The deception within ultimately does just what the enemy wants it to do: kill, steal, and destroy. A person who knows not thyself is walking around like a zombie. And this is why when you pray or when you try to speak some real common sense to them, some practical knowledge, it doesn't take. They're not receiving. In time, they distance themselves because you are holding up a mirror, Christian. You are exposing, Christian. You are telling the truth. And in the deceiver's world, the truth is forbidden. The truth, telling the truth, that's breaking a rule. People like this, sometimes they're just better off being left alone. Even if they died never really knowing how much pain, how much upset that they caused in other people's lives, at least you know. At least you know the truth. No matter how much a liar wants to deny something, no matter how much they swear that they're telling you the truth, no matter how much they say that they love you, care about you, and would never hurt you, you know the truth. You know the truth, and don't let anyone take that truth away from you. What you saw was what you saw. What you heard was what you heard. People who have deceived themselves for so long, wanting to be in certain circles, wanting to connect with this one and that one, putting on false fronts, are going to fight believers, particularly tooth and nail, on whatever you uncover about them. I've worked too hard. I've put too much money into this. You can't go around and tell people anything. You got it? You got it? You keep your mouth closed. And depending on where you are on the food chain, the consequences might not be too severe. Some individuals know exactly what I'm talking about because you are around some of these strange individuals. And you say, every time I say something to this person, they always got some type of rebuttal. They're always denying something. I know I've been around these strange individuals who they love saying that you're wrong. that you don't know what you're talking about. And you know full well what you're talking about. And if there was a room full of people plus some cameras to show them that they're in error, they would still try to figure out a way to put something on you, to try to say once again that you don't know what you're talking about. But God gives us this insight, not for us to start any World War IIIs, not for us to go and say, oh, you know what, you are a no good, low down. No. He gives us this insight so that we will slowly but surely get away from the individual, or be more selective in the type of conversation we have, or not to trust them with certain information or with our belongings, to safeguard our children when these people are around. That's why He allows us to see them for who they truly are. People who don't want to be honest with themselves are not going to be honest with you. People who do things to alter their personalities, their identities, their social class, their ethnicity even, are not to be trusted. I know some people don't want to hear it, but I'm saying it. Because if you can't be honest with yourself, then you're not going to be honest with other people. Some folks need to just take a trip back down memory lane and think about those times where you said some things or did some things, and you know that you were leading people on, playing a game with them. I'm not going to tell them my business. Well, if they find out the truth, they'll have to dig for it, because I'm not telling them nothing. Folks who want to cover up their personality disorders or mental illness, they're going to do this sort of thing. And if you choose to remain close to them, you're going to be pulled into their deceptive world, because they're going to tell you, now when we go over here, I don't want you revealing this, that, and the other. And when you talk to so-and-so, make sure you don't mention this. Oh yeah, and the other thing, don't you ever come to me and mention anything to me about my weaknesses or my errors. Otherwise, I'll have to cut you off. I don't like people pointing out my faults, okay? Keep your little criticism to yourself. Or they will say, oh, you could say some things to me. I'm approachable. Just make sure you watch your tongue, right? Any little inflection, any little change, what have you, they're going to shut right down. Right down. Even if you do call yourself talking nicely. Because deceived people want to believe their own lies. But deceived people do not want you coming around saying too much of anything. So, some of you all get along quite nicely with these people because you never point anything out. You allow them to just go ahead and be who they are. And that works for a while. But it's not going to work forever, because one thing about God's people is sooner or later, God moves us to say something that's going to hurt somebody's feelings. I've been on this planet long enough to see it. You cannot, even believers cannot sit in a room for too long without somebody saying something that's going to be convicting. And that's why some of those conversations are some of the worst ones. Because with some people, you can't tell whether or not they are jealous and offending you as a result of jealousy, or they're speaking truth to truly help you. Because some are very good about how they present themselves. They can talk in a well-mannered, very polite way, but at the same time feed their little self-absorbed, narcissistic side. So take heed. Take heed to what I'm saying. Pay close attention to some of these individuals who, no matter what you say, they always got some type of remark. They're always denying truth. They're always telling you, oh, you must be mistaken, you're in error, or whatever else. We don't get into discussions with them. We don't argue with them. I had a person not that long ago disagree with something I said, but if I was to go and get the proof and back it up, what am I going to get? Oh, I guess I was mistaken. So if it's not anything serious, it's not necessary to dig for this and dig for that or argue back and forth. Because what they're going to do is they're going to try to act as if you're the nut because you want to keep going on and on in a conversation. That's why sometimes you'll get folks around you that will say, just be quiet, don't say nothing else. And as much as you want to just go on and on about it, it's not worth it. Because if they don't want to listen and they want to continue to self-deceive, you don't have to deal with them. It's just that easy, right? Once a person has shown what they're about, you don't have to deal with them. Always tell yourself, you know what? I don't have to keep dealing with this. Because usually when we do find ourselves wanting to go on and on about something, it's because we've reached our limit with certain folks. That's all that is. That's all it is. You have gotten to that place where you're like, I am sick of arguing. I'm sick of proving points. I'm sick of digging for information. I'm sick of busting folks, in their lies and then listening to excuses. And so you just want to unleash on them. And the Lord says, it's not worth it. When I have given you a way out, it is not worth it. So preserve your dignity. Take a deep breath. And know that God is with you, even in something as minute as a person wanting to deny that you saw what you saw, heard what you heard, smelled what you smelled. I thank you so much for listening, and to God be the glory.